I want to share with you my facial transformation, and this is me at 160 pounds versus at 140 pounds. And I like my face at 140 pounds because it is way more defined, and I think a lot of other people prefer a more defined face. I'm going to be talking about how the quality of my life has changed a lot for the better. I feel like I'm a more attractive person. I don't even think I fucking know because I get a lot of outside feedback. I have a lot more female attention when my body fat is at 100%. I mean, at 100%, damn. No, when my body fat is sub 10%, I realize that my bone structure pops out a lot more. I have a way more defined face, and the reaction that I get from women is a lot better. I go on a lot more dates, messages, things like that just increase when my body fat is lower. And I want to talk about how it's improved the quality of my life and how it can improve the quality of your life. I also have some studies that will be linked down in the description below that you can do your own research on, and it talks about how facial aesthetics are influenced by your body fat. And I know that when I look at a girl, I find her more attractive when her facial structure pops out a lot more. And in fact, in these studies, they actually show that having lower body fat in the face is perceived as being more attractive, not only for the aesthetics, but also for health concerns as well. Because you do have to realize that your body is going to be thinking about health risk at a more subconscious level and in a more animalistic way as well. Your body is going to be thinking about the health concerns that your partner is going to have, and also is that genetic trait going to be passed down to your offspring. For example, in this study, they consistently reported that people with a lower facial adiposity were perceived as not only healthier, but also more attractive, rather than those with a higher perceived facial adiposity. One of the major factors in transforming my face was losing a body fat and revealing my underlying bone structure. During this process, I wasn't just losing weight. A lot of people just focus on the number on the scale. I wasn't just losing weight, but I was also building muscle at the same time. And that's because I want to build a sustainable lifestyle. I'm not just looking to lose and cut weight. I am specifically losing body fat when I do this, and I have done a little bit of body recompositioning. For example, I stay at about 8% body fat year round at 150 pounds at about 6 foot. Instead of looking at the number on the scale, I actually take waist measurements, and at 150 pounds, when I had started around 10 years ago, my waist was at 30 inches at 150 pounds, and now it is at 26 inches at 150 pounds. The reason why you want to take your measurements at your waist is because a lot of body fat accumulates around the stomach, and there's not a lot of muscle there because it's actually hard for your muscles to get bigger around your stomach. Not that it's not possible, it's just that there's not going to be much hypertrophy around the stomach. That's why I take measurements around my stomach, because the measurements are a lot more consistent than the number on the scale. There's a lot more methods that you can use in order to track your progress. Taking waist measurements happen to be mine. I know that a 26-inch waist is fucking crazy for a grown-ass man. 27 years old, about 6 foot, 150 pounds. And if you see me, look, bro, I'm the same weight as I was in fucking middle school. My body fat is 8% year round, but when I cut, it's about 6%. How I know this is just through visual cues. It's just seeing what 6%, 8% looks like in real life, and you can search up images of what sub 10% body fat looks like. It's really up to you. Also do like body fat scanners. Now, these body fat scanners aren't necessarily accurate. I know that. And the reason why I'm saying they're not accurate is because I've done them before and they said I was 4% body fat. And I don't want to come on here and say, hey, I'm 4% body fat, because y'all niggas be hating and y'all don't want to admit that I'm that low in body fat. All right, word, let's meet in the middle. When I cut down, I'm like 6%, but walking around 8%. All right, just chill on me. All right. But I'm at a pretty low body fat percentage. Pound for pound, I'm pretty strong at around 150 to 140 pounds. My max bench press is 255. And I'm still gaining strength even while I am in a caloric deficit. And I would like to say that I'm an intermediate to advanced lifter. I do have to switch up the program pretty often in order for me to see strength gains. But if the intensity is there and the volume is there, my strength will go up, and also my muscle mass will go up as well. There are health concerns associated with a higher body fat percentage. It's correlated with life-threatening diseases such as heart disease and diabetes, increased risk of stroke. You're having low energy, poor cognitive performance, and even some mental health issues that come with having a higher body fat percentage. And the relationship between body fat and facial aesthetics is starting to become more mainstream. I can tell you, man, I have seen so much bullshit on the fucking internet. And when you really educate yourself on not only facial aesthetics, but also just your body in general, you just see how retarded some people can be. Should I say retarded? I don't give a fuck. When you educate yourself on facial aesthetics and nutrition, you can just see how stupid some people can be. They're giving you fucking snake oil techniques such as gua sha, jaw size, and just making you look fucking stupid with all these facial exercises. Everything I just listed is fucking stupid, not just facial exercises. But in this video, I want to provide you with effective applications that you can do in order to increase your facial attraction. And one of the things to increase your facial attraction is revealing your facial structure. It is important to note that your facial structure is actually a secondary sexual characteristic. And I know we're never taught this in school, in sex ed class, right? We're taught that the boys have the Adam's apple when they start growing and going through puberty, and the facial hair, and women start developing breasts and widened hips, right? They skip over to the face completely, right? And I can understand why they would do that, because it's a rather uncomfortable subject to talk about, but it's a very important topic to talk about because your face affects your quality of life and your mental well-being. I mean, people make jokes about your face. People are so harsh when it comes to your face. You have no idea. And a lot of people hide and try not to admit that your face is very important to you. And your facial structure is such an overlooked secondary characteristic, and it's almost like we don't like to categorize it or talk about how it's a secondary sexual characteristic, because even in the animal kingdom, animals give off subliminal messages to the other mate that they are of higher genetic quality. And this is the same thing in human beings, because we can see this in your facial structure, because your face is highly influenced by sex hormones. In men having bigger jaw bones and developing a bigger and more defined jaw, cheekbones becoming more prominent, their cheeks and their lips becoming thinner rather than those of female faces. And in animals, the most common secondary sexual characteristics, for example, is the peacock with the bigger and brighter feathers, or the lion with the bigger and darker manes getting the most mates. Because what it signifies to the female is that they can pass down higher genetic quality to their offspring. With the significance of facial aesthetics covered, let's talk about the methods to getting low body fat and getting a lean face. And the best way to lose body fat that I've found is to take a flexible dieting approach. Everybody has a diet, no matter what. I don't care if you're on low carb, keto, vegan, gluten-free. Everybody has their own unique diet. And for the most part, all you motherfuckers do is eat the same goddamn thing all the time. You go to the same grocery store, you pick up the same foods, you have a favorite restaurant that you go to and you get the same item. And whenever you go to a new restaurant, you just pick what's familiar to you. Think about it, you probably only eat 5 to 10 things all the time. And if you can find alternatives to that, then you have yourself a better and healthier diet. And the best way to do that is to find lower calorie alternatives. And that's why I take a more flexible approach to dieting. And we're creatures of habit, man. You fall victim to, you have 5 to 10 things and you just don't steer from that, a lot of times. Because why? It's because you don't want to risk not eating something that you don't like. I used to be the type of person that was super serious about macros and fats and carbs, but really I just track my calories and my protein. And these are 2 major things that I track. And the reason why I track my protein is because I want to build muscle and I want to gain strength. I eat about 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. And when I fall off track, I use this time to create an after action report. An after action report is a military term that is used after a casualty or after something that wasn't expected to happen. you know, you sit down, you have a meeting about it, and you think to yourselves or yourselves, you know, as a group, collectively, you think about what could you have done better? And this is exactly the type of approach that you need to take when it comes to your diet. Whenever you fall off, man, you have to get back up. You got to get back up. You got to do it again. And don't be one of the motherfuckers who start next week. Don't be one of the motherfuckers who start on Monday, tomorrow, whatever. Start on your next meal. Get back up no matter what. You just cannot quit. I've been doing this for 10 years. Trust me, the only reason why I made it this far is because I kept fucking up. All this shit is built on failure. A lot of people would tell you success is built on a mountain of failure. There's a lot of failures that come before you start to feel successful. And I feel at this point in time, I'm really satisfied with the way that my body is. And even when I have a cheat day, 1 or 2 cheat days, my body doesn't really take a hit that because I've done this for so many years. And what has taken you years and years to create is not going to be destroyed in a day. And this just goes to show you that you don't have to be 100% perfect when it comes to your diet either. I would say that just having an 80% compliance rule, like the 80-20, if you are just compliant with 80% of the time and just 20% of the time you fuck up, you're still gonna reach your goal. When it comes to an after action report, what could you have done differently? What could you have eaten instead of going over your calories? For example, if I order 2 boxes of large pizza and I eat both of those 2 boxes of large pizza, and yes, trust me, I've done it before. I've been over 3,000-4,000 calories over, and I take note of that. And guess what? For about a week or 2, I am testing out different lower calorie pizza options. I am obsessed with pizza, bro. I'm looking up all types of recipes. I'm looking up all types of alternatives to those ingredients in order to make that pizza for myself. And a lot of times, I'll tell you what it is too, is a lot of you motherfuckers are super lazy and you don't feel like cooking. I'm gonna tell you what, bro, if you want to take interest in this dieting thing, you've got to fall in love with the tedious things, and you got to fall in love with the mundane things. You got to fall in love with the things that don't sound that interesting. For example, since your fat ass likes to eat so much, you got to love cleaning up after yourself. If your fat ass likes eating so much, then you've got to learn how to cook. And the reason why you guys can't take that much control over your diet is because you eat out so goddamn much. If you realize that a lot of stuff you can just cook at home, even if it's the same price. Like, I know nowadays, bro, like buy your food is so much cheaper. I don't think it's hell no, it ain't much cheaper. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I've been doing this for almost 10 years. I'm gonna tell you this shit right now. Buying healthier, lower calorie foods is way, way, way more expensive. But what you have to do is you have to kind of look at the opportunity cost and you have to weigh the pros and cons to it. You're not a normal person anymore. All right, you're somebody who is going to be taking control over their lives and you're going to be changing it for the better. Trust me, that comes with a cost. And the people who make these prices on groceries, they fucking know that shit. When you go out and get some fucking groceries, you are going to be spending like $600, $700 a month just for you. And you gotta be prepared for that big ass hit. The trick is just to find healthier, lower calorie options and learning to live with your body and mind more harmoniously. Don't think about subtracting. A lot of people, when they go on diets and stuff, they think about, oh my God, I need to stop eating sugar. I need to stop eating these cheeses. I need to stop but I need to stop drinking milk. Things that you can find alternatives to that. Lower fat cheeses, lower calorie sauces, milk, going with almond milk. And it tastes a lot better. You know what? Fuck you. All right. I like almond milk. You could say it tastes like shit. I fucking like it. But there's other lower calorie milks out there. Learning to live with your body and mind more harmoniously and learning more about yourself. This isn't just about transforming your outside appearance, but it's also about self-discovery. And this is how I have maintained such a low body fat, because I educate myself on nutrition and I took the interest in learning about myself as well, which gives me the freedom when dieting and makes me crave the more healthier foods for my body and my mind. But now that we talked about how to get to a low body fat percentage and how to make it a lifestyle, let's actually talk about what's really important and why you want to lose the body fat, and that is to have a more defined facial structure. I'm going to tell you that some people need to build out their facial structure. Some people, I'm talking about me, I needed to build out my facial structure. And as we mentioned before, the face is very important for a man because it shows signs of higher testosterone. wider jaw bones, thinner buccal fat area, more prominent cheekbones, and you will fall into the misconception, which is that raising testosterone will improve your facial structure. And this is very captivating because they're making the correlation that higher testosterone levels mean that a more masculine face. You'll have guys that are just searching up on the internet how many ways to raise testosterone naturally or how to do these things naturally, blah, 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 blah. I want to tell you that your face will not change unless you had a massive spike in testosterone, which would be influenced by taking TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, and not even at a normal level, but you would have to be above normal levels to start to see any anabolic effects or any structural effects. And the effects of higher testosterone on the face isn't even a good thing. Being introduced into your adulthood can actually be counterproductive because when you raise up testosterone, it also raises estrogen as well. And what estrogen does is it causes water retention. But the studies that people are correlating in their heads when they read about higher testosterone means more masculine faces were done on patients who inherited testosterone levels while they were in gestation, as shown in this study on prenatal testosterone exposure that you can read down in the description below. And the reason why your facial structure is so important is because some people will not have enough bone density or projection to give their face that robusticity that they're looking for to get that more masculine look. Even if you get that lean 6-8% body fat, your face still won't look as lean or defined as you would like it to. And at a certain point, you don't want to lose a lot of body fat or you're just going to look very malnourished. If you're somebody like me who has lost the body fat, but still isn't satisfied with the way that your facial structure is, I've gotten cheek, jaw, and chin fillers in order to build out my facial structure. What this does is it adds more structure to the face and helps the face look more leaner and more defined, and it builds out those facial contours that we talked about before that gives your face a more masculine look and creates more angularity in the face. And I'll tell you the most important feature, and it's a very overlooked feature of the face, is the chin. Did you know that humans are the only animals that have chins? And it's theorized that this is because the chin is a sign of beauty. And it's also important to complete the jawline. And you can see it a lot of attractive faces when you push back and create a recessed chin, it drops their facial attractiveness dramatically. That's just a little fun fact I just thought I should share with you guys. But I really do think that when it comes to the jaw and your facial structure, it is to have that chin in check and make sure that you have good projection on your chin. Obviously, too much is a bad thing. I'm not saying the bigger the better, you know. The chin is really good when creating facial balance. So we just touched on how you want to lose the body fat, but we also touched a little bit on you don't want to lose too much weight because then that's not attractive either. So what is the ideal weight and body fat to be at? Being too skinny can come with its own health risk and health concerns. Being too big, same thing. The opposite side of the spectrum. And it's funny too, because I've noticed with myself, when I get too lean, when I get too, my body fat is super low. Like I said, when I've been like 135 pounds, like I've told y'all, this is my face at 140 to 160 pounds. It's been at 135 pounds has like been the lowest. And in that range, around that 140 pound range and below, I start to become obsessed with food. I become a fucking chef. It's actually quite interesting. I just be cooking up a storm, dog. I'm cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner, bro. We having a feast, bro. I'm cooking for the family, you know, which I turned into a positive thing because y'all know at the end of the day, I'm an alchemist. You know what I mean? I take that negative, I turn it into a positive. So my family loves it. I love it. You know, I'm just like, yeah, man, I got y'all, you know, and it actually keeps my mind a little bit busy. At nighttime, bro, if I'm starving or whatever, and you know how it is when you're at low body fat percentage, you can have this big ass meal. 20 minutes later, you're fucking hungry again. And that's because on a physiological level, you just do not have enough calories in you and you've been doing it for such a long time. I've even dreamed about food before. I'm on my phone at night 24/7 throughout the day looking up food recipes and whatnot. And that's how I can tell when I'm at a normal or healthy body fat percentage is when I stop becoming food obsessed. And it's funny because bigger people on that other opposite side of the spectrum are food obsessed as well, you know, but Theirs could be a lack of education, or it could just be that they're just really obsessed with food. I've noticed that people with a higher body fat percentage have almost this toxic relationship with food. You know, it's like they just can't stop thinking about it. They can't go hours without eating. Their main concern when it comes to going somewhere or doing something is, what are we gonna eat? And it's just like, shut the fuck up and just do what we came here to do. Being on either side of the BMI spectrum would cause negative reactions, as stated in this study. Here's the funny thing about me. When I hit 145 pounds, that's when the compliments start rushing in, bruh. And for this, my BMI is 19 to 19.7, which is obviously on the lower end of the normal range, but it's perfect for me because when it comes to getting female attention and more dates and compliments, this is perfect for me. But on the flip side of that, once I start getting above 10% body fat and teetering towards going up to 160, no fucking compliments, no, nothing. Like, oh my God, it's night and day. I'm a little bit traumatized going back up to 160 pounds. I didn't like that. I did not like that life. I'm gonna stay right here, you know, continue to build muscle and lower the body fat. But so yeah, I'm anywhere from 8% body fat year round to getting to 6% when I'm cutting. There's no reason for me to go up that high anymore. I don't want to. Please don't let me do that shit again. Done in 2013 report that people can actually detect changes in BMI as low as 1.3 kilograms in male faces and 1.6 kilograms in female. People can actually tell a 3 to 5 pound difference in your face. Another thing about me is that I know when I'm in a low body fat percentage is my vascularity becomes more apparent. The obliques on the side of my abs appear, the striations in my legs. And since we're talking about the face, my fucking masseter muscles become striated when I clench down. You can see fucking all the muscle fibers just pop out whenever I bite down. I stay in a striking zone. I like to stay at 150 pounds, and when I feel like cutting that 5 to 10 pounds, I can. Some big key takeaways before I leave this video is to be in a caloric deficit by tracking your calories, making sure that you get in enough protein, that you're building muscle, and that you're not losing that muscle when you're trying to lose body fat. So get on a strength program, doing an after action report when you mess up. We all mess up. Trust me, we all mess up. Even me making this video, everybody you look up to, we all mess up, we all fuck up. Get back on it, and trust me, bro, 5, 10 years time, you're going to really thank yourself that you did not give up.